Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia, and with me today we got Brandon.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about games and things.
Games and things.
So, sorry folks, you have my sultry losing my voice again this week. So there's that, but we got things to talk about. I'll wrap up on Hyrule Warriors. Brandon's got some thoughts on Arc Raiders. We're going to talk more about the Steam thing. And that's the plan. That's where we are. So it should be a nice, short and sweet episode. We'll see how it goes.
Yep.
You ready to get into it?
Of course.
All right. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. So my final thoughts, more or less. I say final thoughts. There's DLC coming out for this in 2 days. So
Nintendo seems to be doing that a lot lately.
This is free DLC. This is a free content.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
So, and honestly, I don't know. I still stand by. I really do not mind DLC coming out sooner. I don't know why people have this thing where it has to be like so far down the road. Most of the time, at that point, like I'm so far past that game, like I could care less about going back.
Yeah.
So it's nice to at least be kind of closer to when you're doing everything.
I think the reason why, and I feel this way, as do some other people, is I feel like when DLC comes out so close to the actual release of a game, if it's paid DLC, it feels more like maybe this was something that they could have just included in the game. That's what I think a lot of people feel like. And
But
I
you
do
don't
feel that
way
way
about free DLC?
No, I feel that way about free DLC. But what I'm saying is, specifically when it's paid, that was what I was trying to say.
Well, no, I know. But I guess what I'm trying to get, and I know this is a detour that I don't want to take, but you open the door, so I'm going.
Yeah, no, let's go and have it.
But I guess what I can't wrap my head around is why there's a problem with free DLC,
yes,
versus paid. When you take
the paid DLC versus free.
I said free DLC versus paid. It really doesn't matter which order.
Okay, all right, sure.
Yeah. But why that problem exists when at the end of the day, really, if the complaint is, well, this should have been included in the base game, why do you give free DLC a pass just because it's free? If the question is this game was not complete and we're releasing the DLC later,
yes.
Because really, I don't. If that's the hill that people are going to fight on, then it should be equal on both fronts.
So
you don't see that.
I was going to say my thoughts are probably the reason you don't see that is because one of them is a DLC that's free that comes after the game, and you're like, hey, this wasn't included, but it's being given to us for free. And the other one's a DLC that's like, hey, this isn't included, and also we're paying $20 for it.
Yeah, but then how come people aren't like, well, obviously they were working on this while you're working on the game, so why wasn't it just included? I guess that's the mental work.
I think it's the money. I think it's the money. The money is.
Oh no, I know the money is the thing, but that's not what people always complain about. They complain about, well, this should have been in the base game, and that's not what people are complaining about here. Actually, no one's complaining about this because it's free.
Yeah, no one's complaining about a free update.
But really, like if the question is like, why is this not included in the base game? It's coming out too soon. It should have been in the game. Like that reasoning should be applied on all DLC.
You know what? I guess you have a point, but I think my main takeaway when it comes to this sort of conversation is the fact that, okay, you released this so close to the launch of the game, and it's a free DLC. Okay, that's fine. Versus you released this so close to the launch of the game, like literally weeks after it, and I have to pay $30 more for it. It feels like a DLC has had more thought put into it and isn't just a chunk of what the game originally probably would have been if it releases at a later point in time. It also gives you a reason to go back to the game, but it also makes you think, hey, at least your thought process. Now, is it a flawed thought process? Probably. But at least people's thought process, I think, is that when something releases, like, let's say 3, 4, 6 months after the game has released, it feels like, okay, so this is something they've been working on for a while, maybe like a year now, and now it's releasing, and I bought the pass for it or whatever, and I knew it would come out in the future, and here it is. Versus, this is the second DLC of a game that released a month ago.
But
That's
wasn't
when
the
things
issue?
are like, this
But
feels weird.
but I mean, like in Pokemon's case,
Yes.
for example, so
Mhm.
that was a paid DLC. We know
It sure
that.
was.
They announced it early, but they were like, it's going to come out before February. Um, really, like the date timing
It comes out
doesn't
like today,
necessarily
right?
line up
Or
there.
or it comes out soon.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know.
days.
I think it's just I think I again I think this is very similar to some other things we've talked about this year. I think people really just look for reasons to be angry about things. And I feel like if you're gonna complain about DLC coming out too soon, or these resources should be spent on the main game or other
Story
things like
content
that.
dropped December 10th. There it is. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mega Dimensions paid DLC comes out on December 10th, and I think a lot of people see that as this game just came out a month ago.
Yeah, but when it was announced, we didn't have a date. They originally listed it as, hey, will come out before February.
Yeah,
And at that point it would have been like, hey, 4 months,
4 months,
4 to 5 months.
4 or 5 months. I'm totally okay with that. That doesn't really bother me. That, at least in my brain, again, in my flawed logic, is they took some time. They did. They put the effort in. The
But that
longer
was
it
not the
takes for a
argument that
DLC
you
to
and
come
Nick
out,
gave me when we talked about it originally.
correct.
Argument
And
you
you're
guys said was, oh, they shouldn't even announce it now. You should not even have it announced until 3 to 4 months down the road, and then it should come out even later.
okay. You're
You
right.
see all like the weird
You're right.
like holes that are in
No,
like
you're
the
right.
logic for DLC? Like it
You're right.
really doesn't make sense. Like people have all these moving like goal lines for it.
No, you're right.
And like I get it, just like anything else, like when we talk about cost and things, it really
Hmm.
is gonna at the end of the day, it really depends on people's personal preference.
Hmm.
Like I said, I feel like if they're working on DLC, ideally, I'd like to know about that beforehand. I don't necessarily need cost or a launch date, or just be like, hey, we're working on stuff down the pipeline. If you do
Hmm.
enjoy this game, something to look out for. If they do
Yeah.
know exactly what they're doing, be like, hey, we're planning on like 2 DLC packs for this. Actually, like even Hyrule Warriors, it slipped under the rug, but Koei Tecmo at some point around the time of launch, they were like, hey, we are working on updates and DLC for this game. But they really didn't offer any more information. Like we knew that this was coming. But we didn't know it was coming like in 2 days. Like they just were like, hey, surprise, here it is. And I mean, I think that's good. But like I said, I feel like, more transparency, especially with this kind of stuff, is better. I would rather know, like I said with Pokemon, I would like to know. I'm probably well at that time I was like, I'm probably going to buy the DLC. I'd like to know, exactly what Pokemon company is going to try to get me on the hook for, because if I like this game, I'm going to want to buy it. If I don't like this game, then I know. But the more information that you have, it really kind of sets up like what kind of investment you're going to put into it, financially and time wise. So I don't know. I guess food for thought. Like I'm not really saying anything there, but you just kind of made me think about it when we were talking about it, because I do feel like I said, there's lots of different hoops, for different things, and
Hmm.
whatever. Even I saw today, actually, they announced the new event for Donkey Kong Bonanza starts today. And I saw just a random post where someone was shitting on it, and it was very clear that they had never played it. But their complaints didn't have anything to do with cost. It didn't have anything to do with really anything. They're just like, well, I watched a video and this didn't look fun for me. And then they had this long rant about why they hated it. But never once did they say that they played it or what their issues were with it. It was just like hatred. And I was just like, well, fuck you, because I actually really enjoy this. And why are you shitting on other people for enjoying things? I don't know. That's just kind of my 2 cents on it. Anyways, Hyrule Warriors. So I'm mostly
Yes.
done with the. I am done with the main game. I finished that. I have finished most of the missions. I got to be somewhere like 95% completed on this game, and it's not like hyperbole. Like there's like little percentage things kind of around the board, so you can kind of see like what you've done and what you haven't done. So I've seen quite a lot in this game. So I guess some of my takeaways there. A, it's a fun Hyrule Warriors game. It's a fun Muso game. There's plenty of content there. Actually, just for curiosity's sake, let's see where I am time-wise now that I have this convenient app and can just look. So play activity. So I am over 40 hours with Hyrule Warriors, is where I am right now. So that's definitely a good amount of time for it. And like I said, there's definitely plenty of lots of nice challenge things. I would say compared to like Age of Calamity, this game, I actually think it's a bit on the easier side. I actually think out of the Hyrule Warriors game, this one's probably the easiest. It doesn't seem like, at least based on equivalent difficulties, it doesn't seem like it has that much uh, extra challenge to it. Actually, I ran into much harder challenges in Age of Calamity, but also Age of Calamity had 2 pretty substantial DLCs. So it's possible that, some of my memory of that might have been from the DLC versus the core game. So that's kind of one aspect of it. I actually think it plays a bit slower than the other Hyrule Warriors game. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it seemed like they wanted the pacing closer to what you get in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, as opposed to like, hey, let's mow down things as fast as humanly possible. So that's another difference. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of like, hey, you just gotta just be kind of aligned with that. I do think that story is a lot of fun, though. I did really enjoy that. And I actually think that it does actually offer story value to Tears of the Kingdom. So I think that this actually like helps make that story better.
Okay.
Actually, like pretty substantially. I think because I know I played Tears of the Kingdom earlier this year, and I think I complained about how kind of convoluted the story is, and that's kind of one big difference between that and Breath of the Wild. But I think that this game actually helps ground that story a lot more and makes it more like I guess approachable and like interesting as opposed to kind of the vague memories you get from the past in Tears of the Kingdom that are supposed to be relevant to you in Tears of the Kingdom. So there is that. What else do I have to say about this game? Music's good. Gameplay is fun.
Okay.
So there are those. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I really want to play that game, but I got to play the
yeah.
other ones also. Like, I need to play all of them.
Oh, you haven't played any of them.
So I played the first one, obviously, the one
Mhm.
on Wii U. I never played the Switch update. I never played the one that came after that, which was, I don't know, what was it called?
Age of Calamity.
Yeah, never played Age of Calamity.
Mhm.
So then I need to play that, and I guess this one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think of the 3, I guess that said, this one is probably the most relevant to Zelda. People are familiar with this series, because it does integrate so well into the story as a canon game. It plays very similarly in a lot of ways to Tears of the Kingdom. Um, and really for people who like this, I think what I was thinking through in my mind is really if you like the combat part of Zelda, like this is gonna feel at least approachable to you. It is different than the combat in Zelda, but it's not so different that it's off-putting. If you like the combat in Zelda, you probably will like the combat in this. There is enough similarities that you probably will go through, aside from the difference of the sheer amount of enemies. That's really the big difference. So that kind of stuff's all very good. I'm trying to think. I feel like there was one other thing that I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to talk about that last time. Oh, I remember what it is. This game has like Star Fox missions. That's what it was. I forgot to talk about that.
Huh?
Yeah, so there's like I think 3 missions where you kind of do like an on rails kind of shooter. It's very Star Fox-esque. So that is really interesting. That's a lot of fun. And it was pretty surprising in this, but they do a very good job of making it very Tears of the Kingdom relevant, if that makes any sense. So it doesn't really feel like it comes out of left field. It makes sense. I don't know how else to say it other than that. I don't really want to spoil it even more than that because it's there, but I thought it was just kind of a nice surprise. So that I thought was really interesting. And otherwise, I mean, I guess any other complaints it would be like, a lot of the characters in this game you really don't know or probably really care about. Like they're not really, there's enough character detail there to kind of make you familiar with them or acquainted with them, but not a lot for most characters to really make you be like, oh man, I love uh Typhon. Oh, he is the best. Like nobody really cares. He's an interesting character. There's enough depth in there to at least be like, okay, he's a little fleshed out, but not enough to be like, yeah, he's great. So I mean, I think that's all really interesting. I think they did a really good job carrying this game without, having like Link in there either. Like this really is a big, you know, Zelda series game driven by, not really the big main character. Zelda's there, but really most of the other characters are side characters. And a lot of them don't even have, like, I think in terms of characters that are relevant to Tears of the Kingdom, aside from Zelda, there's like two. Everyone else you don't really even know or have like a name or face. Um, so yeah, you just it really kind of integrates you into that world. I still think Calamo is one of the best characters in this game. I absolutely love that little Korok. I think he's fantastic. And I think that the way that they ended up wrapping this story was emotional, I guess I would say. I think they
Okay.
did a good job conveying the kind of emotion that they wanted to do in this game. It ends on an optimistic note, but it does not end on a like happy note, I think is how I would put it. So I think that's very good. Do you have any questions? Anything I can answer for you on it?
No.
Okay.
Can you send me
All
your
right.
copy?
Yeah, sure. It's
All right,
digital,
cool.
so you have to take my whole Switch. So there you are.
You can send
Uh,
it. I can get you on my family, and you can just send it over that way, right? That's how that works, right?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
All right. I'll let you talk about Arc Raiders before I talk about my other thing.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I've been playing more Arc Raiders quite a bit actually. Yeah. My friend had gotten into it a bit, and I told him where to get some stuff and grind out some blueprints and stuff like that. I've been going around doing quests and finishing them. There's so many times now still where I'm like out looking for stuff and I can just ask someone and then they'll lead me to what I'm looking for, and it's really a breath of fresh air being able to actually just talk with people and figure
Mhm.
out what to do amongst the community. Some streamers tried to start like a fucking gang war basically, where people would pledge their allegiance to certain specific streamers, and it ruined the game for I'd say about a week, where everyone was just shooting each other on sight, and it just wasn't that much fun. But then everyone just kind of was like, "Yeah, this sucks now," and then people kind of dropped and stopped playing, or they went in with what is known as free loadouts, where if you die, it doesn't matter because none of your gear is your own. It's just a free loadout that's given to you. But if
Mhm.
you escape, you get all the gear that you bring with you.
Okay.
So that kind of stopped the people from doing that because they were like, "Why isn't anyone bringing in high level gear for me to steal?" That sort of deal. And then also because one side was very, very into it and just kind of in general a gigantic piece of shit, and everyone was like not having fun. So they just kind of turned on that streamer altogether, and then they were like, "All right, you know what? Fuck this. We're done with this now." And then the game went back to normal, and now it's fun again. So
Okay.
I've been playing that, but it's just streamers doing what streamers do, which is ruin everything. But it got fixed pretty quickly because the
Okay. That's
community was
good.
like, "Hey guys, stop being fucking idiots," and then it went back to being just a fun game in general. Um, yeah, and then I I don't know. I've just been doing these new like runs that I've found to try to get blueprints. Blueprints are learning like the ability to make certain guns and everything, so you don't have to rely on just looting guns off of either dead people or out of boxes and other places in the map. Sometimes you can
Mhm.
find really good gun blueprints, and then you can get the pieces that you need to craft the gun. You can craft the gun yourself, and you don't have to worry about ever trying to find a gun like that again. I've found a few of them,
Okay.
so there's that, and it's pretty cool, and it's been fun. Yeah, that's honestly all I've been doing. So when it comes to that game, I haven't really played a whole lot. I probably only did like maybe 10 hours, which sounds like a lot, but it really isn't.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's still a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I really want to go over and talk about the Steam hardware, the new Steam Cube, whatever Steam machine that they're coming out with. I alluded to it and talked about this a bit last week, if you recall. But
Mhm.
I'd actually like to talk more about it now that we've seen some other stuff to do with it. So, you cool with that? We good to
Mhm.
hop over to that?
Sure.
Okay, so Steam announced these things called Steam machines, and it's this little box, and inside the box is a computer, runs on Linux. We have now the equivalent like components, so it's close to like a 2060 when it comes to like the graphics horsepower, which is not very good, because if you look into it, like a PlayStation 5, like a base PlayStation 5 is on the level of like a 2070 Super ish. So that's even less than a base PlayStation 5. Now, granted, they'll probably be able to offset some of that and have like more power than one using upscaling as well as Linux instead of Windows. But I still think it's going to be fairly underperformative. I think that's the best way to put it. It's not going to perform as well as many people are going to hope. And then they came out this week and said that it will be not like on the level of console pricing wise. They don't plan to subsidize to like offset or anything. They don't plan to basically they're like, our pricing is going to be priced similar to something like a computer, not priced similar to something like a console. And that's really not good. So they were saying essentially that if you were to take the parts that you need and put them into a computer and build it yourself, that'll be about the pricing of the Steam machine. Now, we don't have any set information on this yet. Like, we haven't been given how much it will cost. But from what I'm seeing, from the horsepower that I've seen, and this, that, and the other, if this thing is over, let's say, $500, it is not worth it. It is not worth the price of admission if it's over $500.
It probably will be.
The thing is, if this is over $500, I don't think it's worth the price of admission. However, we do have some other things to contend with, such as the fact that AI has made things pretty terrible right now. You ready to hear about this?
Sure.
So they are wanting to increase the amount of data centers that run like AI programming and this, that, and the other in the United States. And they want to increase it by about 300%. And because of that, they've been buying a bunch of components as they start building new data centers. And my DDR5 kit of 32 gigabytes of RAM that I paid $140 for, or maybe $130, is now about $550.
Yeah,
RAM has jumped through the fucking roof, which is really bad, because that's bad for Steam machine. Although it is not using normal RAM, it's using SODIMM RAM, and if that is the case, it will probably be easier. It'll probably won't be as much as like full size RAM, because you can still get like 16 gigs of SODIMM RAM for like $109. So that's still good price there. And they did say that they would have 16 gig systems. That's what it says according to their own spec sheet. So my guess is the Steam machine won't be affected by it as much as other things, but right now everything is kind of being affected by the whole RAM price hike, right? That's going on currently. I don't know, man. It doesn't look good. The Steam machine already looks like it might be dead in the water. And if they do price it at something like $750, $1,200, it's just stupid. It's not worth that amount of money.
No.
Just because Valve is making it. It's not, and it won't sell well. It won't do well. But if they do hit that like $500 sweet spot, I do think that it will do quite well for them. And I do think that it would probably be worth it, but I don't think it would for anything over that. So
it seems like a reasonable take.
They do have two SKUs. The SKUs are a 512 gigabyte SSD model. So if that was like $499, right? And then like the 2 terabyte was like $699 maybe. I think those pricings are fair. But I think if it's higher than those pricings, it's just not worth it. It really isn't worth it. Because you also have to look at a few other things. Some games that people really like to play, like Call of Duty, like Fortnite, are not going to be playable on this system, because Linux doesn't. Well, a lot of companies refuse to run their anti-cheats on Linux, so their anti-cheats won't work on Linux, which means you can't play those games on a Linux-based system.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to be able to play Call of Duty. You're not going to be able to play like Fortnite and that sort of thing. And yeah, I do think that's going to cut out a large portion of people that would even even attempt to buy something like this. You know, so because those people, a lot of the more casual people are going to play something like Warzone or Fortnite, and if they can't even play that on the machine, and it's already priced high, they're just not going to care. You know, so
Yeah.
I do think though that that it will be really interesting to see how this unfolds later on down the line, because I do think that with it being Linux based, a lot of things will run better than they normally do. For instance, when Elden Ring first came out, and I had a Steam Deck, when I played Elden Ring on said Steam Deck, it ran better on Steam Deck than it did on my Windows machine due to the way that it like caches shaders and stuff before you even boot the game. So like when you're installing things on Linux and through Proton, your shaders are cached during the install, not during the boot of the game and while the game is running. So I do think that some things will perform far better on a Steam machine than other Windows-based systems, but I think it's going to be like on a case-by-case basis, and I think really it's not going to matter if they don't get a good price point for it.
What do you mean by that part?
Like it won't matter how good their games run because no one's gonna fucking buy it if it's like
I see what you're saying.
$800 to
For some
$1,000.
reason,
You know,
I was thinking you were talking the opposite direction, and I was like, I'm lost. So no, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I agree, 100%. Yeah, if they outprice that machine, and like I kind of like what I said last week. If this machine is priced appropriately, it could actually be pretty disruptive. But if they don't, then it's not gonna make much of a splash at all.
yeah.
Because really,
But I don't know how much. So to be completely honest, I don't know how much Valve cares, because you look at like to be disruptive is what I'm saying, not to sell the item just in general. But you look at something like the ROG Xbox Ally that just came out, and it was like $1,200, and that doesn't have anywhere near the performance that this machine would have. You look at something like these Neo systems that are like $1,200, $1,400, $1,600, and again, it has performance, but it's not going to be like a mini computer. It's more like a handheld computer, and it's still not going to be as performative as the Steam machine. You look at all of that, and I don't really think they're going for a console market, so to speak. Like they would probably be fine. They'd be like happy, obviously, if they got it. Anyone would be. But I think they're more of looking at like cornering that market. And that market has people that do already pay high prices, which really sucks because a lot of the things in that space I don't think are worth the prices that people charge for them. But I do think that they're looking more for that niche rather than to like break into like the console market or anything, especially since this isn't a console. It's still a PC at the end of the day. You still have to choose your settings. They'll probably have something where it finds the automatic like default best settings for you when you boot up a game, but you still would have to contend with the little cons that come with PC gaming just in general. So
yeah, and I mean if they're looking to disrupt the market, then it's really going to come down to pricing. And and you're right, they don't really necessarily have a need to. This could just kind of be like a pet project, kind of like the Steam Deck. But
or their VR headsets that they've released every few years, where they put out a new one, and it's super fucking expensive, like $1,200, $1,400, $1,600, and then they sell those and then they fuck off and they don't care anymore. I mean, I think they have enough money just in general that they don't give a shit how well something sells because it doesn't matter to them. It's just extra fun. It's just extra money. They're printing money every single day, no matter what.
Yeah, there was a recent story that they're making like 50 million per employee or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, their gross is actually pretty high. Interestingly, kind of follow up on something we talked about, I think last week. Sony's estimated PC revenue is something like $1.5 billion.
$1.5 billion is how much they made.
Yeah, so
in just 5
definitely
years.
not going to pull back from that.
Yeah.
But I still think that there will be, like I said, I would not be surprised if they approach the. Well, I mean, I guess the Steam machine is like a non-issue. They don't really have to change anything. They should just keep doing what they're doing.
Not only that, but if it comes down to it, right, and they release their own launcher, which I talked about last week as well, then who's to say that launcher doesn't have a Linux version, and then it can't be installed on the Steam machine? So then it's only Windows-based computers that can, install it. Which obviously, then I guess Microsoft in some fashion makes some of the money, but not really, because Windows and Microsoft, Windows and Xbox are two completely different fucking things. So who knows how they will see that.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what ends up coming down.
I want the controller. I think the controller looks really good. But I also want
a nice controller.
I want the fucking Steam machine, but I just want it to be a good price. Because if it's not, it's just like, damn it, man, you're so close. You're so fucking close.
I can't remember if we talked about this last week or not, but there was someone who spoke to someone from Steam recently about it, and they really they asked about the pricing, and they did not seem to be.
Oh yeah, that was Linus. Linus asked them, and they kind of side-eyed him, like, it'll be priced like a computer. And he was like, what does that mean? And they were like,
Exactly.
And then recently they said, if you take all the components that it would take to make a Steam machine and price them out individually, that's about the price it'll be for the Steam machine. And it's like, all right, what do you mean by that? A 2060 doesn't exist new anymore. You can't really get that. So are you wanting me to buy a brand new 2060 where that's going to be like several $100s, or are you wanting me to buy a used one that's only like $100? Do you want me to buy sodium RAM, which I don't know what would run that other than a fucking laptop? And then that doesn't make any sense. Do you want me to buy a 2060 laptop? I can probably buy a 2060 laptop for like $300. Is that the price you're going for? You're not really giving me anything to go off of. They didn't say enough for it to make any fucking sense at the end of the day.
Yeah, not enough to really gather, everything. Make a good informed decision. That's not possible yet.
It's just like, okay, cool, I guess, but that doesn't tell me anything. Literally nothing.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, we'll know. Does this have like a estimated release date yet?
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
2026. Well, that's literally all it says.
Yeah.
It says Steam hardware family officially expands in early 2026. Just like the Steam Deck, all are optimized for gaming on Steam. All are designed to help players get even more out of their Steam library. That is all it says.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see what happens.
But they don't go on to mention how, like, the Steam frame will work really well with the Steam machine. But then, like, the Steam frame is, like, at least from the way it looks, like a high-powered VR headset. So, like, if it's a high-powered VR headset that doesn't require a computer, I think.
I don't know.
I really don't know either.
Yeah, I don't even have a guess. Nothing. What else?
Yeah, supports standalone play. Steam Frame is a PC and runs SteamOS powered by a Snapdragon 8 series processor with 16 gigabytes of RAM. Steam Frame supports standalone play on a growing number of both VR and non-VR games without needing to stream it from your PC. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Wait, say it again?
You're not giving... Their VR headset doesn't require a computer, basically, is what it says.
Oh.
So it's like a MetaQuest 2 or a MetaQuest 3. It's like that, where you don't need a computer to use it.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, well... But then they also have a dongle where you can plug that dongle into your computer and stream high-quality games over your computer to the headset. And I'm just like, what does any of this mean?
Yeah, who knows?
It's really weird.
Yeah, it's very strange. I don't know.
Yep. I got nothing. I got nothing else after that. It's just like, yeah, that's it. That's enough for me.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
Okay. I have one last thing to talk about.
Okay.
And I'll talk about it as quick as I can before I run out of steam. So the only other thing I played this week, I kind of followed back up on something that I said I was going to do a little bit earlier this year, especially with Metroid Prime 4 coming out. I did say I wanted to play all the Prime games before 4 came out. I did one earlier this year, and so I was like, oh, I got 2 weeks left. Let me try booting up Metroid Prime 2 and see how that goes. So I started that up. I'm maybe like 25, somewhere between, like, I'd say maybe a quarter to the third all the way through the game at this point. Metroid Prime 2 is good, but I do think it has some issues compared to the original. It's got some strange difficulty that seems to kind of like go from easy to hard pretty surprisingly. You have that dark world where you're constantly taking damage. Um, so those are some issues that, people run into with it. But I do think that they do a lot of interesting stuff in terms of the new items that are available and in terms of the environments. Environments in this game are incredible. Honestly, I was thinking about it when I was playing it. I was like, honestly, this game actually probably give Samus a nice model and texture update and then upres this game, and it probably would actually look really good. Just with what's already there, because they did some masterful stuff back on the GameCube with this game. It looks really good even today. Although interestingly, it did make something relevant that we talked about last week, where we were talking about Expedition 33, and I was like, hey, I'm kind of holding out for a Switch version because I kind of like playing, the ability to play on the TV or in handheld. And so I'm playing Metroid Prime 2 on the Wii U. And that has reminded me of some things that I've not thought about game-wise in a while, because there's even more issues even between the two. Just things that I have not had to think about in a few years. I can't remember the last time I booted up my Wii or Wii U, but like things like, for example, like, yeah, everyone's like, the pointer controls of the Switch. They're like, oh, it's so much nicer with the sensor bar. The sensor bar's got some issues though too. Like for example, if you don't have a direct line of sight to your sensor bar, well, that fucking sucks. That is one thing that's kind of nice about the Switch. Like, yeah, you might have to recenter your pointer every once in a while, but you can set however you want, and you don't have to worry about being in like a direct line of sight with a TV, which is nice. That I really appreciate. Even some of the little things too, like the process of like powering on the system and getting through there. Other things, this game has save rooms, which you may remember. Not really an issue with something like Metroid Prime Remastered because you can just be like, oh, I'm going to put my system in suspend. Nope, you do not have that option playing on an old system. So, like a lot of times when I'm like, I'll start to go do something and then I'll be like, oh, we got to leave in 15 minutes. And I'll be like, fuck, I have to go find a save room now. And so I'll like start backtracking and go and find a save room. So those kind of things are all interesting and kind of things I have not had to think about in a while. Actually, interestingly, I think at this point I actually prefer the Switch pointer controls versus the Wii pointer controls. I'm so used to it, and readjusting like the sensor, like the center of the pointer for the Switch, is like so inconsequential that it really doesn't detract from the game compared to, I think, with the Wii, where it's like, oh, I want to sit with my legs kind of cross-legged. Oh, I don't have a direct line of sight now. Oh, I want to sit at this angle. Oh, I don't have a direct line of sight now. Oh, the dog walked in the way. I don't have a direct line of sight now. So those kind of things, like you just have not had to think about it before. So I will see how much I'm able to get through this game. That's kind of my goal to see. I at least my new goal is at least to finish Metroid Prime 2 before 4 comes out, which I think is very doable. I have basically like 2 weeks at this point, like a week and a half, I guess, while we're recording. So I think that's doable. Whether or not I'd be able to get through 3 beforehand, I don't know. We'll kind of see. obviously this week's Thanksgiving, so I might have some extra time to actually put into it that I wouldn't normally. So we'll see what ends up happening on that front. But it is really nice to be back to this game. It does the Metroid Prime 2 plays so much better on the Wii with the Prime trilogy. It is a really great way to play that game. I think the pointer controls do add a lot to it. So
Okay.
that's really nice for people who have not played it before. If not, I do really hold out hope that this game gets some sort of attention, either on the NSO with the GameCube app, which I think is probably the most likely, or if they go through and do like a GameCube upres. Really, like I said, if they put the same amount of effort into Metroid Prime 2 as they did with, say, like I don't think they have to go all the way with as like they did with like Metroid Prime Remastered, but at least as much effort as they put into, say, like Galaxy and Galaxy 2, where they did, update those textures and update the resolutions and maybe add some other nice quality of life things. Like, it'd be a phenomenal game. And really a great way for people to experience it again. I do think it's in the pipeline with Metroid Prime 4 coming out, but we will see. So there's that. TBD. I will talk about it again next week. The one last thing I wanted to say, and this should be super brief, and I'm not going to talk about the price aspect of this, but the Kirby Air Riders amiibo have come out this week. And I have to say, I think they're my favorite amiibo of all of them. I love them both so much. I think it's really funny though, like the irony. Like this year has been like amiibo renaissance. Like the quality of the amiibo this year are so much better. The amount of amiibo this year is so much more than we've had in the last few years.
My buddy got so lucky yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah, so let me read what he did. Hold on one second, okay? He got all the Zelda Sages for $10 each.
Yeah, they're all on sale for Black Friday right now.
And Luke from Street Fighter for $15.
Yeah, those are on sale too. Like people are crazy right now.
So at least I think it wasn't supposed to be that much on sale. I think that was a price glitch actually from Best Buy.
No, $10 everywhere.
Oh, what?
Like they're $10 on Amazon. They're $10 on Best Buy. Like it's a Black Friday deal, is my understanding.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're interested in them, if you're
they are $10. Yeah, he bought all of them for $10. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want them for Animal Crossing, like update for this, early next year, like this is a good opportunity.
Yeah, the Luke one looks so good. Fuck.
I know, and the amiibo quality, like I said, it's so like. I'm not even talking just like, obviously they're very much better than when they came out 11 years ago because it's the 11th year anniversary. But even I think over the last couple of years,
Splatoon 2 pack's only $25. What the fuck? I mean, Splatoon 3 pack that has a figure
some great
too.
Stuff there.
Yeah, there's some good shit in here.
I think the big irony though is like, they're like they invested all this more effort into amiibo and then they're getting fucked up by the tariffs. Because honestly, like if I was a kid and Kirby Air Riders came out with like the stuff that they're doing, I would be in fucking heaven. It's like great. Like I said, the amiibo, like those two amiibo are, I think, the second biggest amiibo that have come out. I want to say, I think probably.
Is the Metroid Prime 4 amiibo as big as the Kirby Air Riders?
So I don't think so. Like in terms of like, so the bicycle, it's longer, like width wise. But these are like fat.
You're saying?
Let me send you a picture. I will show you what I mean. But like, all the amiibo that have come out this year have been great. The Metroid amiibo, fantastic. The Street Fighter amiibo, great. The amiibo, good. The Donkey Kong amiibo, great. Like everything looks and like has been really cool. Because I think even when the Kirby one showed up, I'm like, this is huge. It's much bigger than I expected it to be. I think I expected it to be closer to, say, like the Skylanders, what was it, Swap Force that allowed you to do?
Swap Force. I remember that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. So pictures in general. But yeah, they just keep getting bigger and nicer quality. Like the Metroid amiibo look fantastic too. Like they all look great. Really, my only complaint is the price. But I think what they offer, I think, is nice. So
Oh yeah, okay, those are awesome.
Yeah, like I said, they're really big size. Um,
Wait, there's
I got a
one
nice.
on Best Buy right now that you don't have.
Which one's that?
Meta Knight.
Meta Knight doesn't come out till next year.
Oh, I see.
Meta
Okay.
Knight comes out in March. Yeah, actually, there's a couple that snuck out that I did not realize.
So did
So
you actually play the game? Okay, wait,
no,
okay, you didn't buy it. You just bought the
I
amiibo.
did not buy Kirby Air Rider. If I did, I would have talked about it. I did
There have been
not.
so many people that have been like really saying that game is good, like really, really good.
Oh yeah, I've heard great things. I am just not, and I will say I'm at a point where I likely will probably buy it at some point. That's kind of where
Mm-hmm.
I am with it. Like I think it's this will happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But so I talked about this. Actually, I sent this to you guys last week. In between episodes. But Nintendo sent out a survey this last week, and I was like, they must be terrified of the Air
Yeah,
Riders because like it was, I don't know how to describe this survey other than it basically came down
begged you
to,
to play the game.
yeah, it basically was like, why are you not excited for Kirby Air Rider? And it was kind of one of those like, as part of the survey, it's like, well, did you know there's all these things to unlock? And be like, yes, I did. But then it'll be like, well, why are you not buying it? I'm like, well, I just spent all this money on Mario Kart and I was disappointed, so I'm not. That's literally what it wrote. I spent all this money on Mario Kart. I was disappointed. I am not dipping into another one of these games at full price right now.
You know what's funny? I think I probably would have been happier with Kirby Air Riders than I was with Mario Kart.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It looks like I said, there's a lot there. There's a lot of content there.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I
so I'm so worried about Metroid Prime 4 right now. Like I'm
I am
so
not.
worried it's gonna be bad.
I don't think so. I think it'll be fine. Okay, so people that are getting upset about that one trooper that talks, either have don't have any memory of Metroid Prime 3 because there was a lot of talky shit there,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and and people got really bent out of shape. You probably maybe remember this. People got really bent out of shape when Metroid Prime 3 came out for the same reason. Like, oh man, there's all this talking and all this exposition, and it's supposed to be about isolation, but I have all these other like bounty hunters, and they're all like acting stupid and da da da. Yeah, like it's kind of the same thing. And then once the game came out, like you spent like 5 minutes with them, and you never saw them again until you killed them. So, like, there's that. Although my theory for Metroid Prime 4, I'm throwing this out into the universe right now. I
Mm-hmm.
think that Miles is Silex. That's my thing. I think Miles is Silex, and I think that's gonna be the twist of the game. And that's what I'm on the record, pretty much sight unseen. I really have not seen anything else aside from just random things. But that's what I'm going with. So.
Okay.
He's got a big grudge against the Federation and Samus. Makes sense that he would go undercover and try to sabotage her mission. Uh, so we'll see what that is. People still hate it, but there's that. So, but no, I'm not upset. I'm not worried about it at all. There are demos actually available for the game at stores currently. So people have gotten their chance to play the Metroid Prime 4 demo, and it's been very optimistic from what I've been reading. I've not seen any concerns from the demo itself. So we'll see. I mean, really, actually, we're just a week away. It's literally comes out not this Thursday, next Thursday. So we're close.
All right. Nice.
Yeah. Otherwise, that's all I got. I don't have anything else.
Yeah,
Any other?
I don't have anything else either. Well, I guess I do actually.
Mhm.
Yakuza Director's Cut and Kiwami 2. Just had something come through the email. A Director's Cut of Yakuza 0 will have a upgrade for $15 on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and S. So if you've bought the game of Yakuza 0 on PS4, Xbox One, Steam, or anything, right?
Mhm.
That I just listed, you only have to pay $15 to upgrade it instead of the full $50 price tag that the Switch 2 version cost. That will be releasing on December 8th.
Okay.
Yakuza Kiwami, which is adding extra, like extra features such as like just different text features and stuff. I guess
Uh-huh.
that's all it is. Will be a $1.99 upgrade for the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S version. That's it. And then Yakuza Kiwami 2 for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S version will be free.
Okay, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, so that's cool. They actually did some upgrades, so that's good. Everyone was like, "I'm not going to buy this shit if there's no upgrade path. There's no point."
Yeah, it's been pretty bad about it lately, so it's nice that they are offering something. All right. Anything else?
No, I got nothing else.
Okay. Well, let's wrap it up then. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us tonight. Don't forget to find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to reach out to us, gamecrunchcast@gmail.com, or you can check out all of our old episodes at game-crunch.com. Brandon.
Yep.
Any final thoughts?
Nope.
Okay. Well, that's it. My name is Mike Anastasia. I'm online at Penguin there or on your favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
Game on.
Oh, mon ami, a tiny surprise, a figure so small, but it opens wide skies. Tap it here, voila. The magic ignites, a pixelated world under my fingertips takes flight. From Mario's jump to Zelda's quest, each one unlocks the very best. Game on, oh, game on. Amiibo's the spark, from dusk until dawn, with a click and a tap, the fun's never gone. Life's effect, mon cher, so game on. A hero in plastic, a villain in pose, their stories unfold wherever one goes. Treasures and tokens, oh, what's the cost? Just one little tap and you're never lost. Their portals, cues, a collector's dream, a world of delight, or so it seems. Game on, oh, game on. Amiibo's the charm, your worries withdrawn. They dance on the screen, a digital dawn. Life's a party, mon cher, so game on.
I feel like there's something else to talk about today, too, but I don't remember.
Maybe, but I gotta take my medicine soon, and it sounds like you need to go get some on.
No, I don't need medicine. I just need to rest my voice. Really, that's the big thing.
Mhm.
And whatever I had to talk about was not that important anyways. So I can't wait.